Yay, I'm so happy you found this video and that you're interested in maybe making your own cacao drink in the morning. I'm not going to go into a bunch of detail about what is cacao, where does it come from, the culture, the ancient wisdom that really comes from cacao. All of that, I'll save that for a different time, different video. But I really want to just share how I make my cacao. And again, keep in mind that this is just how I do it. Everybody makes it a little different. There are different ways to make it based on what maybe your purpose is. If you're going to be deep within a ceremony, there are specific ways maybe that it will be done for that. This is how I make it. That works really well for me. That just feels really good for what I'm looking for and how I bring this beautiful medicine. That's really what it is. This beautiful medicine into my life with intention and with an open heart as I start my days. So most days I do drink a cup of cacao in the morning. It's how I start my morning. You will see I'm still kind of in my PJs. And so I do start most mornings like this. Not every morning, especially if I have to really run out the door early in the morning, because I do like to be very intentional with how I make my cacao. I'm not just whipping it together, drinking it down and heading out the door. So if that is the case, I have other things I use, other teas and that kind of stuff. But for when I'm really gonna be present and have the time, I do make my cacao. It can take about, for me, 10 to 15 minutes, but there's other ways you can make it to speed up the process a little. Again, I really like taking the time to wake up and ease into my morning right now is what's working well for me. But again, 10 to 15 minutes. So if that means I have to get up 10 to 15 minutes earlier than normal so that I can spend some time really being present with how I make the cacao, then that's a priority for me. So a few things you can do is really, again, just as you start making the cacao, to be really present. So I have here, and then I'll move these out of the way. These are the cacaos I'm using right now. I try all different kinds, but right now I'm using the Aura, and this is the Belize. This one is the Tantric Rose Blossom, which is lovely. And then I've been using the Columbia a bunch, which I really, really love. So I'll have a link below or on the website that you can go and order these if you want to try these. I really love them. They're in little discs, so they melt really nice and really kind of buttery and creamy. And then each one, you can read about what they are used for. So for instance, the Belize is for meditation and creativity. The Rose Blossom is for emotional support and intimacy. So they all kind of have a different mood, a different use, and I like kind of feeling into that. Like today, I'm really looking, I have a bunch of work I need to do later, and as much as I really love this like intimacy one and all of that, this one is expansive, expressive, and magical. So I'm like, oh yes, I'm gonna call that in today. So I take some time before I even start anything to just get clear on what's my intention for the day, what does my day look like, what do I want to invite in, what is the feeling I want to have, and then I pick my cacao. So again, normally I just have one. Right now I have a couple to choose from, so I'm getting clear on what I'm calling in first. And I have a beautiful pot that I use that I don't let anybody else use for it. And that wasn't always the case. I just used whatever I had, which is fine. But now I really love this pan and I don't want it to get all scraped up by everyone else using it. So I have a pot that I really, really love and a whisk. And that's all I really need. And the cacao. And then your base. So a lot of people just use water, which is great. And I use water once in a while. What I am really loving right now is flax milk. So this is the one I use. I get it at Sprouts, Good Karma. It's the unsweetened. It's really creamy, like super creamy, and I just love it. And it has a little bit of sweetness to it, just natural sweetness. It just tastes a little on the sweet side, so I really love that. So I've already mixed up. What I use personally is about 3/4 of a cup of the flax milk, and then I fill the rest up with water. So that's just the ratio I like. You can play around with that and see what works for you. Maybe you want all water, maybe you want all almond milk, regular milk, whatever. You can use whatever your body is telling you it wants. So tap into that, find that out first. If you're somebody like me, like I love dairy, but it's not always the best for me as much as I, in my mind, really like it. I know my body doesn't. So I've tried to switch things up, and I just try different things and see what really feels good as I'm drinking it, okay? So I've already mixed that. I'm gonna pour it in here. And then I'm gonna turn my stove on, just medium, just to kind of get it going. So you don't want to cook it too fast, and you don't ever want it to be like boiling. You just want a nice heated, maybe a gentle simmer is what I do, just to really get it mixed up. But so you kind of want to ease into it, and that's why it takes some time. So I just put it on like, I don't know, this is like 1 through 8. I'll put it on like a 4.5. So as that starts to heat up, I will get my cacao ready. And I have it in just a little glass jar to make it easier to pull from, or you can just grab it from your bag. This is the Belize one today. So I'm at a point now where I can just measure it by my hand, however you want to do it. This is about how much I put in here. Let's see, 2, 4, I don't know, there's probably like 15 or so discs here is what I'll do. 15, maybe a little bit more, just depends. You could do it however you want it. I mean, that's the beautiful thing, okay? So if you don't want it as chocolatey, you can put less. If you want it really chocolatey, you could put more. But I'd say for me, that's about, and this is what they look like, just so you can see their little discs, little chocolate discs. And they're really beautiful, and they just melt so nicely. So I just gently sprinkle them in. And I think I'm gonna throw a few more pieces in. And then this is a recent thing, a recent addition. Again, I do whatever I want. That just feels right for me. I take 1 piece and I eat it just as I start the process, and I say just a little prayer, just a little thank you of gratitude for this nourishment, for this medicine, mama medicine as it's called, and just being able to acknowledge this wisdom that's held within this incredible plant of cacao and this food and nourishment, and may it nourish my body and my mind and my spirit, and whatever feels called to you. It can take you 5 seconds to just say thank you. That's all it has to be, okay? But some intention I think is really important. So I do that, and then I'll eat a piece. There we go. And I don't rush that process either. I let it really sit, melt on my tongue. It's so good. Yeah. So I'll talk to you right now, but normally I wouldn't. And you'll feel it. Just like, get freaking present. Who cares about all the other stuff? Who cares about all the stuff you have to do with your day? That'll be there regardless. But I just like get into it. The flavor, the texture, the way it feels on my tongue, the way it's breaking down, the way I can feel it going down my throat, into my heart, like through my heart and into my belly. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So it's opening. What it feels like to me is it's opening all of this. It's activating all of this. It's opening these chakras, right? If you're into chakras, your throat chakra, your heart chakra, your solar plexus. It's like going down into your root chakra. It's all of it, and it's all love. Like every single sip I take of cacao is love for me. And that's coming from somebody who was really disconnected from what that means or feels like in my body. for quite a while. And so this really is an awakening for me, using cacao. It's really changed everything in my life. It's become such a practice that I just am so deeply, deeply grateful for and honored that it gets to be part of my life and my day. So I can get super woo-woo on cacao. I won't right now. Okay, so I'm mixing it, just gently stirring it. You don't want the chocolate to kind of get stuck on the bottom. So I just whisk it up a little bit from time to time. And then the other thing I'll do as I'm waiting is I have a couple rules. So my rules are I do not allow a phone while I'm making my cacao. If I have to step away, the phone's ringing, I need to answer it something, I'll step away, but I don't ever bring my phone here. I might play some music and I'll have like my phone and my speaker on in the background. That's always nice to just play some nice music that's really speaking to me. And again, that can be on depending on the morning. I could have it totally chill, just like nice, relaxing music, or maybe I want something a little bit more primal to me, something that really is like touching something deep inside. It just depends what I'm feeling at the moment. But for the most part, like 99% of the time, I am either not playing anything and I just want quiet, or I'm playing something kind of soft and a little soothing, something with some like, good frequencies. So that's it. I'll have my phone around if I'm playing music. Otherwise, I don't sit here and scroll through Facebook and Instagram. I'm not answering emails. I'm not sending text messages. I'm not doing any of that. That doesn't mean I stand here the whole time. I don't. I might go, and after I've started this and done kind of my invocation with it and gratitude, I might go step outside. I do that a lot of mornings. I'll just say, I'm gonna take 60 seconds and go step outside, put my feet on the cement and look up at the sun and say good morning, or look at the trees, or just take a couple deep breaths, whatever. Might just walk around my yard. I might go open up all my blinds in the house and open up some windows, that kind of thing. And then I'll come back and check on it. So it's just a process, and I just kind of, feel into what is needed in that moment, and really what is it I most want to do that feels really good. And that's not, yes, I know I need to check emails. Yes, I know I need to get on Facebook and on Instagram and TikTok and like all the things. Those will come. Those will come. Not now. Okay, so I really do hold this as sacred space. I hold this as very sacred time that I do not let get interrupted by the stuff that doesn't, like, it's just not that important right in this moment, because this sets the tone for my whole day. And that's pretty powerful. So like, what's the tone I want to set for my day? And this is slowing down. This is dropping in. This is feeling really grounded. This is me feeling just centered in my alignment, in integrity with myself. And that's everything, right? That's how I want to go about my day. That's not to say all this other shit is going to be flown at me and I'll deal with it as that comes, but this is how we start it, with this solid, grounded foundation. And cacao allows me to do that. Okay? So we're just going to let this keep going for a little bit longer. I might turn it down just a little bit because I don't want it to get too hot too fast. And just keep stirring it. So I'm gonna let this go for another maybe, I don't know, this is looking pretty good. I'll probably go another 4 to 5 minutes. And just every minute or two I'll stir it up. And just keep an eye on it to make sure it's not boiling. And once it gets just a nice little simmer going, then I'll shut it off. Okay, so it's been going for about 5 minutes, and I did turn it down to like a 3 or so because it was just getting like, it was starting to boil and I didn't want that. So it's pretty much done at this point. And again, I might let mine simmer more than needed. probably doesn't need to like cook this long, and there's all kinds of thoughts on how you do this and like really, really proper ways to do it when you're in ceremony and that kind of stuff. And again, that's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to teach you like the ancient traditional ways of cacao. I'm just showing you what works really well in my life right now, and what feels really good to me, and what works just beautifully in opening up my heart and setting an intention and getting my day going. So yeah, okay. So it's pretty much good to go. So at this point, I'm gonna pour it into my mug, and I'm usually, again, I feel like, you know, life is ritual, like life is ceremony. So there's certain things I just can get a little particular about, and one of them is my mugs. So like if you have a favorite mug, use that mug. And I have a few, and it just kind of depends on what I feel that day. So like if this one is really calling me, I love the shape, I love the color, it says, you know, good vibes only, right? Then I pick this one. There's like 3 or 4 that I'm drawn to. So pick the one that really feels good to you. Again, why not? Why not just freaking go all in on you? On you. You're worth it. You're deserving. It's not being selfish. It can feel a little much at times, but who the hell cares? Just do it, okay? Okay, so I pick my mug, and then I will pour this in carefully, very carefully. Ooh. There it is. Oh my gosh, it looks so good. Yum. Okay, now you have a few options, obviously, if you want. I don't really add much else to it, but I have, just depends, but right now I'm not. If you want to add some honey, like I have this honey from Hawaii, which would be amazing to put in there. So you can put a little bit of honey, just depending on how you like your sweetness. So play around with honey if you want. I also have this cinnamon, this really good cinnamon. So if you like things really cinnamony, you can add a little cinnamon in. And then this one I do probably 2 or 3 times a week. And again, I know it's, you know, it's just what is working well for me. It's this cacao and adaptogens drink mix that I get. It's this one, the superfood chocolate drink mix. And it has mushroom powders, reishi, shiitake, ashwagandha, it has maca, it has all kinds of stuff in here. And I just feel like for my body, sometimes it really craves this from the standpoint of like the mushrooms, it has mesquite powder, it has all kinds of stuff in here. So if I do this, which I didn't do today, if I do, I would do probably about half the amount of cacao discs, and then I would add about a tablespoon of this. So that's what I do a couple times a week. Again, I feel like all of these adaptogens and these other ingredients give me so much energy for the day. So I really love this. But that's just me. You might have something else you want to incorporate into there, or just keep it as straight the cacao, which again, I do that many mornings, and I just love it. I love something about the purity of it just being that. Just water and cacao, or if you want to do you know, a milk or milk alternative and cacao, something feels really good sometimes where I just want that purity. So yeah, so play around, see what you like, see what works for you. And then just to, like, as we move it forward, right, now I have my cacao. It's usually pretty hot, so I let it sit for a little bit. Maybe I go finish up some things I need to do, and then I normally get back in my bed for a few minutes and drink it there. Or if you have an altar, I have done that as well. I'll go sit at my altar, and again, that altar could be whatever it needs to be. It could be a corner in your room with a candle. It could be a corner in your room with you, right? You are the altar, so it's wherever you go. It could just be sitting at your kitchen table before the kids wake up, or whatever it is, looking out the window. So just finding a space and a place where you can be intentional with when you're drinking it. Maybe you want to go outside, whatever it is, okay? Or maybe you just want to stand right here in your kitchen and just drink your cacao. But at least with the first few sips, I do really try to just be present. Be really present. Be here, be now. And I do always give gratitude and just, thank it and thank myself. And I really, as I take my first sip, it's all about nourishment. That word, nourishment, nourishing, nourish. It's such a beautiful word. And I really try to connect with it as I'm drinking my cacao, because I can feel it as I'm drinking. I mean, it's so freaking yummy. It's like as I'm drinking it, I can feel it going through my system, going into my body. I can feel it opening my heart. That is what cacao is, right? It's so heart opening. And so I can feel it just going through my whole body and just nourishing me, giving me exactly what I need. And at the same time, that includes being present, that includes slowing down, that includes being just in gratitude and taking some time for myself. So yeah, that is how I make my cacao. That is the level of intensity I bring to my cacao, and the process and the practice of it, and also as I drink it. And yeah, so adjust that for what works for you and try it. Just try it. I wasn't doing it like this when I first started by any means. And I've just created my own version of it. And so however you do it is perfect. It's perfect. Okay? So just get started, start making your own cacao. Or maybe you already are and you want to bring a little bit more intention to it, then do that. Maybe you want to try something different, whatever it is. So if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Again, I'll put the links to where these products are. So the drink mix, and then to the cacao that I'm currently using, and that may change over time. So I'll link there any new cacaos that I have that I'm really, really loving. I may also link to this candle. I don't always light a candle when I'm making my cacao, but if I really, really am like setting intention and really creating this beautiful container around this experience, then I bring out like my best candles. Oh my gosh. Yum. Thank you. Yeah, so that's about as deep as I get into it. And just sharing a little bit of that with you, just so you can see if you don't already feel comfortable doing stuff like that this opens you up. It cracks you freaking open if you let it, right? So let it in, and whatever your body is feeling called to do, to say, to feel, just let it be. Let it be. We are in such a box in our day-to-day lives and the roles we play, the masks we have to wear. Just let yourself be whatever it's calling for, whatever she is asking you to do, to feel, to be, to say, to whatever. And then keep an eye on lizlandine.com/playground. That is where I'll be posting all kinds of new stuff, free stuff, regarding how we really connect to ourselves, especially as people with highly active brains, which many of us are. And so how do we work with quieting the mind and really tapping into the deeper wisdom truths of the body? And this is especially true if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a business owner, and you're feeling kind of disconnected from self, then yeah, follow along. Get on my Instagram, go to my website. And also for the ladies out there specifically, we do have a free Facebook group called Connecting to Self, Playground for Women, where we talk about all this stuff much more intimately amongst all the group members. So you can share. I would love to hear from you there. If you have made your own cacao, what your practice is, what's working for you, all of that. You can share it in our group and we'd love to hear from you there. All right, so wishing everyone so much love, so much light. Have a beautiful day.